Hi everybody, I'm Mike OConnell with the Larimer Small Business Development Center. The purpose of this webinar is I wanted to give you some tactics and tips to evaluate and look at your cash flow, look at your expenses, and just help you weather the storm to stay afloat during this difficult economic time because of the COVID virus crisis. This is meant to be short information. We've got resources that can help you, which I'll talk about shortly. But let me cover a couple of key points because it's important that all businesses in this time look at these aspects and say, I could take some action here, probably not there, but you have a plan for how you're going to conserve your cash because this is really a time period when cash is king. I think the first thing that I would look at your business and say, is my revenue going to be impacted by this crisis? And for a lot of businesses, the answer is unfortunately yes. However, you might have a business that's making surgical gloves and you're doing really, really well right now. But let's assume that your business is going to be down on revenue. You've looked ahead and you're saying that yes, my customers are worried and this is going to be a negative impact for me on the revenue side. So that means that you as the business owner, manager, you need to look at the expense side and kind of right size those things and take those steps to make sure that you stay afloat and that you're really protecting your cash flow. And I'm going to break the first three parts into what I'll call the three L's. The first one is if you happen to have a lease payment. Many of us that have rented properties or have a retail space, approach your property management company, approach your leasing agent. They're very well the situation. They're getting hit with this from multiple people, and just see what kind of arrangement or benefit that you can get. We've heard of some leasing agents, they're giving people a couple of months deferral, others are giving them reductions in the lease. This is impacting them as much as impacting you, but it's important that you do this quickly and do this as soon as possible. Don't delay. So lease is a pretty big percentage of overall cost structures for a lot of businesses, and we want you to have that discussion earlier rather than later. The second part is bank loans. I've talked to several of our Northern Colorado bankers. They're very sharp. They're aware of what's going on. They've seen the impact from these this business problem. And please go to your bankers now and try to find out what sort of program they may have, what they might be able to offer you. The communication we've had with bankers, they're very much wanting to approach this on a case-by-case basis, so I'm not going to put out what every single bank is doing, but you should go in and see your commercial lender if that's who you deal with. If you're not sure who to go with, contact the bank that you have a loan with and try to ask for a person that can help you. And be ready with some of your financial statements. Be prepared to talk about the impact from what this virus effect has done for your business. And almost every bank that I know of is trying to do something for their clients in this. So again, it's important you begin this discussion earlier rather than later. You might try to firm up a line of credit or draw down on a line of credit if you have that with your bank. Not every business does, but you may have that sort of emergency cash supply to draw down on. You might want to verify that the line of credit is still valid. You might want to try to establish one if you have such a financial tool available to you. And also, I'm going to talk a bit about some of the disaster resources that we have, but if you have a bank loan, approach that banker quickly. The third thing is, if you have people, if you have employees, we build teams, we try to get a feeling of camaraderie with employees, and making people decisions in an environment like this is really, really tough. And I understand that firsthand. You know what your business outlook is. I can't give you a pat answer here, but this again is an area where you need to make these decisions earlier rather than later. I know of businesses who have had to let their staff go because they couldn't maintain it and keep their business afloat. Just make sure those people are getting referrals to the Colorado Department of Unemployment so the employees can file unemployment insurance. That's a really important part of that process, and we have consultants who can help you with ways to do that the right way so that it is not number one, demeaning, number two, ineffective for the employee who's looking for help. Those are three things that I would say do quickly: loans, lease, and labor/employees. The other part is just managing your cash flow, and I'm going to break this into three parts. Accounts receivable, that is money that's owed to you if you have you're in a business-to-business model where you've got money outstanding. Accounts payable, which is money that you owe other people, and inventory if you're in the sort of business that does buy inventory. The first thing is on accounts receivable. People are going to want to pay you more slowly. You need to spend more time working on this. If people owe you money, get a confirmation that they're going to pay it. If they're having a problem paying it, try to work out some kind of payment plan. But don't just let it lie there and hope for the best, because it will be disappointing and you'll be negatively surprised. So review who owes you what and try to stay on top of that. If you have QuickBooks, if you use QuickBooks, you should be able to query it and see where your accounts receivable dollars are. And we can help you with that if you don't know how to do that. It's kind of the reverse on accounts payable. You're going to want to pay people more quickly. You'll take a look, and maybe you've had to pay people immediately, or you've paid them in 30 days. Try to stretch that out if you can. You want to try to conserve your cash. You're trying to collect money as quickly as you can. You want to delay it when it has to go out. One subset of accounts payable is if you have utility bills. There are programs that are being offered by utilities to support businesses that are being impacted by this virus impact. So you might want to check before you make your utility payments, see if those could be delayed, a smaller amount paid without penalty, et cetera, et cetera. And then the third thing I'm going to mention in the overall cash flow cycle is inventory. Can you place smaller orders than you usually do? Can you get extended terms before you place that order? Does the order really need to be placed, or should you delay it until you see what your incoming orders look like or how long the business impact from this goes on? So worth looking into in all cases. The other thing I would suggest you do relative to really taking a hard look at your expenses is many of you get income statements or profit loss statements. There's a section in there about operating expenses, salary, selling general administrative expenses, or SG&A. For others of you, you might not have those records, but go through and look at where did you spend money for the last 6 months? Where did you spend money for the last 12 months? And make a decision about what is absolutely critical for you to maintain your business. Cut out anything you can that isn't necessary to running your business. Dues, subscriptions, whatever it may be that you can look at and say, sorry, I can't pay it right now. That also may involve some tough decisions, but you need to look at that and determine what's discretionary and maybe could be delayed or pushed out a bit. Advertising could be a part of that, although you certainly want to be aware of the impact of that, but possibly it could be delayed. And as far as just some resources that I want to talk about for a minute, we have on our website in the upper right corner, there's a COVID tab, has many business resources on it. You may have heard about the Small Business Administration Disaster Recovery Loan that's available for businesses. It is a loan. It's not right for all individuals or all businesses, but we can help you with that. We can help you with the pros and cons. You're not in this alone. We've had many organizations that are working really hard right now to provide resources for the business communities. Our municipal economic health, economic department offices, our county organization, including our Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development Department, that's doing some amazing work on making sure people get unemployment insurance and other employee benefits for those people that are laid off, plus giving our businesses great advice on how to do that properly. You've got business associations organization, like our chambers of commerce and other business organizations that are keeping people aware, keeping people networked, and more importantly, they're advocating and telling people what you can do to support those businesses that are maybe partially open, working on reduced hours, so that you can support those businesses, buy gift cards, still place orders with them while they try to weather this. So that's particularly important. Our website is www.larimersbdc.org, and again, click the COVID tab. In the upper right, you'll see a whole bunch of business resources. For those of you, by the way, that are considering applying for an SBA disaster loan or economic injury disaster loan, EIDL loan as it's called, I can tell you that about 15 years ago I applied for and got an EIDL loan myself. I had a business that manufactured and sold rustic furniture, and there were wildfires that went through southern Colorado, northern Arizona, wiped out a bunch of our dealers that were our customers, and had a pretty big impact on our sales. We applied for an EIDL loan, got $40,000, and it was a very critical cash injection for us at a time when we really needed it, and we were fortunately able to pay it back 2 or 3 years later. So that's the sort of help that you can get from people. There are organizations that are here to help. You're not at alone, and I will leave you with that message. But thanks for all you're doing. We appreciate it. Appreciate what you've done over the years. If we can help you with anything as the Colorado SBDC, as the Larimer SBDC, feel free to reach out to us, and we will get you connected and do our best for you. Thank you very much.